The Monica Makes It Happen podcast is proudly supported by Ponce Bank.
Welcome to the Monica Makes It Happen podcast, where we celebrate some of the best people who are changing their communities, always making them better. It's about courage, it's about compassion, and it's always about community. And I have to say, I can't even believe Jillian Crane is here, the CEO and president of the First Responders Children's Foundation. First of all, love the hair, love the glasses. You are such an incredible, first of all, beautiful on the outside, but on the inside too. And for some reason, I only pick people who have such a big heart for community. I think that's number one. Number two is, of course, you're CEO and you're doing all these big things. We're going to talk about Times Square in a minute, but your First Responders Children's Foundation, the organization that you've devoted decades of your life now. I mean, it's really your heart and soul. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about your story. I always want to know what drives these incredible people. And then hopefully we'll learn lessons along the way and how it becomes a movement. I think it's so important to elevate these stories because, and thank you Ponce Bank for allowing us to do this every single week, to elevate these stories because it takes a community. It takes all of us, not just giving, but also giving of ourselves to make our communities stronger. And who can we help but our first responders who run toward danger, who give their lives, the ultimate sacrifice. And Jon Stewart, can I say something? Jon Stewart is part of the story. This year, Jon Stewart actually hosted Jillian. How did that happen? How did you get Jon Stewart this year?
Well, we've been celebrating National First Responders Day since 2020. So it was our 6th annual awards ceremony, which is our roll call of heroes in Times Square. And we had to find a host, and one of our board members and works with the John Field and the Feel Good Foundation. And I called him up. I said, we need a host for this year. And he made the connection to Jon Stewart. And it was interesting because, just on a little side note, it was a very funny first call that I had with him.
I love this story. Can you share this story? Because Jon actually shared it at the podium, I think, a little bit. And I think it's hilarious. Could you share it?
Yes. Well, I was in Birmingham. We're a national organization. So I was in Birmingham meeting with one of our donors and talking about our programs and supporting them. And I was at the Birmingham airport and I got the call that said, okay, here's Jon Stewart's phone number. Call him now. And
I love when stuff like this happens. That's a life-changing phone call.
It was life-changing. But my phone was running out of battery and I didn't know the Birmingham airport very well and I was late for my flight. And so I'm trying to find an outlet, which I did. And they said, listen, thank goodness. And they said, he may not answer, right now because he doesn't know your number, but just text him after you call and say, who you are and that you're calling.
So you're texting Jon Stewart.
So I call thinking I'm going to have to text after I call. And he picks up on the first ring. And I just said, is this Jon Stewart? He said, yes, it is. I said, this is Jillian Crane from the First Responders Children's Foundation. He goes, hello, Jillian, how are you? Just casual, like I'm calling, I said, and he said, I got to tell you, I don't usually pick up on the first ring, but you have a 323 area code, which is an LA area code. Yeah. And I thought you were Oprah.
Yeah. I bet you he does get calls from Oprah. So
he probably does.
That's a true story.
I said, Jon, I hate to do this, but I've disappointed you and we haven't even started a relationship. But and then I said, would you be willing to be our host? This is a day of unifying the country, bringing people together to honor the service and sacrifice of first responders from all over the country. And they're representing their entire profession. And he said, absolutely, without hesitation.
I love that he just answered yes. Those are the kind of people that I love. And can I just say I love Jon Stewart. I don't know him, but after that event, I feel like I know him. He put us at ease. He stayed for all the families. And remember when he joked, he's like, I said, where's your team? Can I talk to your team? He's like, what team? I have no team. It's him and his cell phone, which I love. I think that that's so humble and wonderful. And he did bring so much to the event.
He did. Really did. It was this incredible opportunity that we could raise the level of awareness because he's a national, talent.
And treasure. He's really a treasure.
And what you said, the thing is he supports first responders.
Yeah.
He has supported them for 20 years. Mm-hmm. He stands by them and their families. He was such a perfect choice. And he's passionate about what he said to you when he said, we have to remember these people. They're running into danger for us. Well, we're running to safety. They're running into danger. We have to be there for them. He was just, I remember, and he just showed up. He walked over. He said, I said, do you want some transportation? We have security. We have the state troopers. We have,
yes, you had a lot of security.
We had a lot of security.
I felt safe.
He said, I'm good. I'll just walk over. I was like, you're walking over from your studio? Where are you walking over from?
So we love Jon Stewart, but can I say we love Jillian? And he loves you too. I mean, he spoke about your commitment when you were away from us. I was talking to Jon. I was talking to Jon Stewart, and he was talking about you. And then you come in, and then he's like, "Oh, we're talking about you, Jillian. Here we are. Let's talk about Jillian." I'm actually going to put that in my TV show for November. I'm going to put that entire interview because it was so good. You know, you have to cut and paste. That's why I love podcasts, and I love having this extra time because this is really one of the juice of these stories. And the way he spoke about you, and I don't think most people know, why are you so committed to this? What is going on here? This took over your life 9/11 happened. It changed all of our lives. But most of us were just frustrated. We didn't know what to do. We're stressed out. And you decided to do something about it. And you've literally dedicated every day of your life to helping the children of first responders who were lost. And it's why?
You know, I will tell you, this organization was started by Al Kahn, who was in the children's entertainment business and who was in New York on 9/11. I had a whole other life where I was an actress. I'm a career actress. I was happily doing that.
People still recognize you.
Well,
when we walk around, they're like, "Oh, it was Law and Order, right?"
Oh, well, I did a bunch of things. Did the practice. Did a show called Spinning Out.
They're
did
Googling.
Election with Matthew Broderick. Did a bunch of things. But I was not part of this organization until 2013. But on 9/11, just because you mentioned 9/11, I was coming back to New York. I was living in Los Angeles. I came back to New York on the 9th of September, 2001, and I was staying down near the World Trade Center. I'm sure we all remember where we were. But I was here to work on a project. That was the moment where what I saw stayed with me. And then, 11 years, 12 years later, I jumped in to be of service on the board. I mean, everyone was running away. And then I saw all these people out my window, these first responders and their vehicles on foot running toward the danger. And it stayed in my mind for a long time. So when I had the opportunity to join the board, I joined the board, and frankly, I thought I was going to be a bit of a troublemaker because I was like, well, where are the women? where are the women on the board?
Yes.
Why aren't we honoring firefighters?
I do that every time I'm on the board.
Why are we not doing more press? We're a national organization. We should be in every state. Why is our board only local?
You changed the whole trajectory.
So I thought they were going to kick me off, actually. Yeah. And instead they made me president.
Usually you kind of come close to them kicking you off sometimes.
It's true. You have to just give what you can.
You're on the edge.
I was on the edge. I thought they were going to say, you're out. Instead, they said, this is better.
I think every day I'm going to get fired.
Yeah, we live with that.
This is the last day.
We got to work hard.
I don't keep a lot of shoes here. Let's just put it that way.
I have to say, the name was called the National Law Enforcement and Firefighters Children's Foundation.
I didn't know it was that name first.
It was that name first, and it was a long name. Think of that. That was a long name. It just
Well, I finally know First Responders Children's Foundation. I can do it.
You could do it like that.
Sleep.
And we changed. I sort of spearheaded a name change, brought in women, made sure we were honoring having more diversity, right? Who we're honoring, who's on the board.
Good.
So then they said at 2020 happened and really jumped in and was working a lot with law enforcement, families, really focusing in on the children. Mackenzie Scott found us and gave us a huge grant.
Love Mackenzie
and
Scott.
We couldn't have even asked for that. We have to just thank her every day.
She
and then
is amazing.
They said to me,
if people don't know who she is, how do we describe her? She's one of the biggest philanthropists.
Yes.
She was married to Jeff Bezos.
Right.
And she decided, wasn't it true that they said something about how philanthropy, he couldn't give away the money fast enough? And she said, I can.
She said, I can. And she researched who was doing what. She said, I care about female leadership. I care about law enforcement. I care about families, first responders nationwide.
And the Bronx. She really gives a lot to Bronx organizations.
Can't say thank you enough.
Yeah.
And the board said, well, we're going to actually fire you from the board and make you our CEO. Will you take the job?
I love that.
And I thought, I have no background in this.
And you said, I'm doing it anyway.
I'm going to do it anyway. And I left my career and I hired a great team that I get to work with every day. And
I love that. See, this was supposed to be a story about the first responders, but it really is a female empowerment story. You know, when I see you, I see someone who stepped out of their comfort zone. And so many of the women that I talk to usually are, you know what I mean, underestimated in so many different ways. I feel that myself.
Well, we underestimate ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, no, you didn't say
Because
that.
when you underestimate yourself, right, you're like, I I don't know how to do this. And,
Yeah.
and then my friends who all kind of went to Wellesley and Harvard and were CEOs said to me, you're already acting like a CEO. Why don't you just try it?
Oh my gosh, you're already acting like a CEO. I love that. Thank you. So after the commercial break, let's talk more about the mission, acting like a CEO, being a CEO, and then also all the programs that you're doing for the First Responders Children's Foundation, mental health, financial. I mean, you're giving scholarships. Let's talk about it after the break. That's after the break. All right, we're back. It's the Monica Makes It Happen podcast. Thanks to Ponce Bank. We're so appreciative. Jillian Crane is here. I always get the best CEOs. I really feel like I get the best CEOs, the best celebrities, the best community champions. And sometimes they're all in one. You're all in one. How did you decide to do this? And how do you decide, which families? Because there's so many families in need. Can you tell me a little bit about how your foundation helps so many families in need?
We look at what the first responder family community needs. It started at scholarships, and then we thought we don't want to just give scholarships. We want to create a network of children and first responders. We want to have peer-to-peer support. So we expanded scholarships to be a scholars council, where when they become a scholarship recipient, they join our family as a council member. And then they have—
What a great idea.
Yeah, so now they have meetings, they go to events, they're ambassadors for us, they get leadership support. We bring on speakers, and Monica, I know you just decided you're going to come speak to these kids. So last year we gave out 400, this year we gave out 300. We've had the CEO of Crayola and the CEO of Build-A-Bear, and we had the COO of the DEA who brought in El Chapo come speak. You're our next speaker.
I love that.
These
I'm
kids—
thinking news stories. I'm like, let's do some stories on this.
Let's do a story on you speaking to these kids and teaching them about the business and also about resilience, because they need to hear from leaders like you who have been successful, how they did it. And you know what? They're constantly, I mean, I don't know about you, but failures are okay. We got to have failures.
Today.
Yeah.
16
I fail
times
every day.
before I got on the podcast here. But that's true.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we looked at mental health. Has been an issue in the first responder community for a long time. We noticed there are there've been a lot of suicides, the stress, the pressure. There wasn't a lot even for the first responders themselves. Now there's more. But we thought in our role as a children's organization, we can take on the children of first responders. So we created a counseling program. It's a resiliency mental health program where we provide short-term counseling. It's free. It's confidential, and you do not have to have insurance.
I love that.
No insurance.
There's always like a copay or
no copay.
To file paperwork.
Right.
Who needs all of that? And talk to me about the stories. There's so many stories. That's what I was first attracted to your organization because of the stories. I'm a storyteller. And then I got to know you. Tell me about that. There's probably a million stories you could tell us. But can you tell us one that sticks out? Maybe, is it Annie's story?
Yeah, there's one story. I mean, there's so many stories. I'm going to tell you two stories, but the first one I will tell is of a recipient. It started out, unfortunately, in a really tragic way. It's a family in Texas who the father was a police officer, then became a police chief. And on the morning of Annie Rule's high school graduation, her father did not come home from his shift. He was killed
on her graduation day.
Yeah. So she was supposed to go to her graduation. Her father died in the line of duty. She went to her graduation. We have a video of it, actually. We can send it to you. But her father's police department showed up to support her and watch her walk and receive her diploma. And then we gave a bereavement grant first. This is a family in Texas. And we gave them a bereavement grant. And I know her mother very well, so got to meet the mother, of course, first. But then we gave a scholarship to to Annie. So Eden is her mother. Then Annie got the scholarship to go to school. She graduated. Now she's a mental health provider.
She's giving back.
She just married a first responder and has a baby. So now she is a family of, her child will be a child of a first responder.
This is amazing.
I just saw her. We had an event in Dallas with some of our board members there, and she was there, and she spoke about what it was like to be a child of a first responder that morning when she woke up, that she just never thought that would happen. She loved her father, didn't get to say goodbye. That's what she, kind of lives with. There's another child here in New York City, Samantha Switzer. Her father was an FDNY firefighter. He died from 9/11 related illness. Samantha she was a scholarship recipient, went on to be a nurse. She's now a children's nurse, an oncology nurse here in New York City. And she just got married and I went to her wedding. So it's a great story.
You get so attached. So do I. You're not supposed to as a journalist. You're not supposed to, but I always do. And it's like a life commitment now. And you're committed to these families for life. They love you like a family member. And, nothing says support like funds. I'm not afraid to talk about it anymore. Money. We have to help our viewers with money. And now you're unafraid. You're there with the check. And that really is important for children, because if they have these dreams to go to college or to go to a high school or even do anything, they need the funds.
Yeah, these children of first responders, they don't take the oath to serve. Their parent does, but they serve silently along with their family. Their parent doesn't show up for their practices, isn't there for their birthday. When we're out, celebrating the holidays, their first responder parent is keeping us safe. I think if you look at the newspaper and see the news, the wildfires, the hurricanes, the shootings, these kids are dealing with that on a daily basis. It has an impact. We owe it to these families to take care of them because their parent is taking care of us and our families. So I'm really proud to support these families. I think it's really important that we do it, and we need money to do it. We need support, and we need it because we're in every state. We need people in every state to support our programs.
We love that. An endowment is next, right? We're going to manifest this because it's the 25th year. We
next
need
year.
Someone to step in. We always like anonymous donors for organizations like yours that really do the work. And so when we come back, we're going to talk about more stories and a speed round that I like to talk about. These are surprises. We like to surprise question you. That's after the break. Okay, we're back with Jillian Crane, the CEO of the First Responders Children's Foundation. You had me at hello. We love these families. You love these families. You're so committed. 25th year. What are you hoping to see in the future of this organization?
Well, I will say next year is our 25th anniversary. We have a few things coming up this year that are on the radar here, which is our big event, our Thanksgiving breakfast, which we've had every year since 9/11. It's a breakfast for 1,500 first responder families. They come out for breakfast and toys. CSX Railroad supports this event and others. And we have a VIP Macy's Day Parade viewing, and we say thank you to the first responders. Then we go on to our Toy Express, which is a big community engagement program.
I love the Toy Express.
We give out 150,000 toys nationwide to 217 agencies in 143 cities because we want first responder agencies to go into their communities and build trust in the communities they serve.
It's such a great idea because you do it in public housing. You do it in public housing. You do it in homeless shelters.
We work with the NYPD and their sleigh ride every year, which goes to 5 boroughs and works with NYCHA. We've done it in NYCHA many times, all the public housing. What's great is that a law enforcement officer can give a toy to a child. They're going to remember that. They're going to remember the relationship, and they're going to look at a person behind the badge. Not just the badge, not just this is a law enforcement officer. This is probably someone's parent, someone's mommy or daddy, and now they're giving a child a toy, and I think that really makes a difference.
I love it. I love it.
And then our 25th anniversary next year, so
it's going to be big.
We're going to try to sustain the organization for 25 years to come.
Yes.
We have to do that, and we need funders.
Yeah, and achievement. I always like to end. We got a few minutes left here. Your biggest achievement, Jillian, I always ask.
I have to say, I think it's really becoming a president and CEO from a background that really wasn't that.
So it wasn't Hollywood. It wasn't any of that stuff.
No. I thought it would be. I thought I wanted to tell other people's stories. And then I thought, well, I can read the script. I can put on that costume. I can go and be that person. Or I can advocate for heroes and their families and tell their stories and still stand in Times Square. I got to stand in Times Square.
Center stage, but in a different way.
In a different way than I ever thought.
Say more impactful. And you're really making a big difference. How do we get involved? I'm sure people watching, we have a lot of generous people that watch. How do we help? What do we do?
Well, follow us on Instagram and go to our website, but follow us on Instagram. It's the number 1STRCF. 1STRCF. Get involved. Go to our website. call me on the phone. I'll meet you for lunch anywhere. You name the place
Can we
and
call
time.
Jon Stewart?
John.
Let's call him right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he probably will pick up. He's like,
he would
hey,
pick
it's
up.
Oprah again. No, I'm just kidding. No, but you know how we feel about you, Jillian. You're a friend of our show. You believed in my segment and my show from the very beginning. So I can't even, you're going to be a big part of what's to come for our show. And whatever you want me to do,
Monica,
I will do
you make it happen all over this city. You help people every single day who don't have a voice.
Well,
I watch you on all of your shows and
thank
social, and I'm
you.
just amazed at how devoted you are, how smart, and how you make a difference. You use your voice to make a difference.
I try. And I think also, as women, we have to stick together.
Yes.
And it's interesting how your career kind of ebbs and flows. And I loved your story because I think so many people are going to relate to that story of maybe doing a reset. Life not always.
It doesn't work out.
And
I had a dream, and I was sad in a way. I wanted to be more successful in that role.
What?
And I wasn't. But in a way, yeah, life changes, and just grab the opportunity while you can, and maybe you'll surprise yourself.
Oh my gosh. You just got me. You got me. Uh-oh. Does this mean a career change for Monica Morales? Stay tuned, everybody. No, I love you, Jillian. Thanks for being on our show. And we love Ponce Bank for always supporting us as well. And let's keep making it happen together. I love this conversation. One of my favorites. See you next time.